Ah, ah. Today we're gonna learn the truth. The truth and why you are stuck in the situation that you're in right now. Or the feeling that you're feeling in a situation that has happened in the past. This is not something that your friends talks about or has been taught in school or in your regular YouTube video. We're gonna share about something really deep, so get ready for it. Why are we stuck? Why do we feel we are stuck? Whether it is in your finances, in your relationship, in your health, why are we stuck? Today we're gonna delve right into it. Not from some personal development, change your mindset, not from some tactical strategy about losing weight or making money, but we're gonna go deep. So stay tuned. Last night I had a call with someone, a seeker from a pretty young age has just come across there is something more to life than just go to school, get a good job, build a business, and make a whole ton of money. Like, what is the purpose of life? And to his credit, he's gone through a great extent of seeking out from gurus, from different experiences, so that he can really delve into what life is really about, seeking wisdom from all forms. And when we had the call, I said, cool, well, so what would you want to know? You've spent 5 years of your life researching and experiencing, and I'm sure you've had a lot of profound experiences and wisdom. So what's the gap? What's missing? And he said, I've done this, I've done that, but I feel like I'm no further ahead, and I'm paraphrasing phrasing in what he said, but I'm still lost, I'm still confused in what is my purpose, what is life purposes. And I let him speak, and I asked him the question, so do you believe there's a higher consciousness? And he said, I don't know. I said, okay, but if you have to guess, there's 3 options. You can guess there's no higher consciousness, what we see is what we get, or there's a higher consciousness, you can call it the divine matrix, God, universe, life force, prana, chi, whatever you like to call it, something out there that is infinite wisdom that we could access, that beyond what we know, something very powerful. Or the third option is you can remain to stay to I just don't know. You don't want to even take a guess on what do you think is more probable. And he chose, well, I think it is probable that is something else greater out there. But why did I ask these 3 questions? Because number one, if you don't think there is, well, of all the research you think, like, there's no logic behind it. And if you say you want to stay in I don't know, well, I just know that person is seeking certainty that is just so much in fear to even take a guess of whether it's A or B. It prefers to say I don't know. But regardless of which answer, there's no right or wrong. We don't know what is out there. I don't know for sure. There's that, well, at least from a point that I can prove it to you, not that I'm interested in proving anyone. I know that he's operating from what I call the ego self. It's thinking that me, this is the predominant character. Just like in any video games that you, a lot of video games, you kind of choose your avatar, your character, and these days with a lot of the games, you get to choose the hairstyle, your skill, your costume, So you choose your character that you play with. And that's kind of like your ego self, like that's who you are. We are projected in this game of life on earth as how I look right now, someone that has black hair. But am I just limited to someone that with the name Gary with black hair? After all, we all came from the Big Bang. We all came from stardust, turning into various elements, from a rock to a reptile to a monkey, and a monkey somehow, like all this is formed from the same stardust. So we all connected in some sense. So in this human form, we are what we are. Do you believe there's more to it than just this human form, that consciousness came before birth is already given? Well, according to a lot of the ancient wisdom, it does definitely point to that direction. Based on my water experiment, you can see the just our thoughts alone can shift things to become like all moldy and dark, and many other things that a lot of other science experiments, that water actually holds memory, air, dark energy in the universe, not just like dark energy. It actually is a lot of intelligence, the dark web out there. That's all these things that we don't know. Some of the most successful entrepreneurs, like Steve Jobs, is like in his book is talks about bending reality and downloading ideas from poets, from Da Vinci to Nikola Tesla. All these people are just downloading ideas. So when you're connected to God, universe, things just come to you, and you recognize it's not just you. These are not just your ideas, your thoughts. They're just downloading to you. But the same thing as when we're feeling anger and hate towards someone, why is someone doing this to me and that to me? All these are just downloading at the same time. You've got the American dollar bill, you've got the all-seeing eye. I don't know whether I've got a copy of it here, but it's like the top of a pyramid, and it's floating on top of the pyramid. And yes, it could be illustrated with the structure of our society, but at the same time, it's almost like our consciousness is there's certain scientific evidence is floating out there on the cloud. We don't need Dropbox or Google Drive or any of these stuff that they're inventing right now to upload. We already have that access. It's up there for us to tap into. Now, the problem is when people think that we don't have access to this infinite wisdom and power that we can tap into, not just intelligence and having ideas to solve problems and strategies, but we can actually yield what we desire from our thoughts, from our intent, that we can create things. After all the creations around us, including this camera I'm talking to, is a fantastic piece of machinery, but it first came from a thought of someone. What if it would be great to create this device that can capture this computer, same thing. What if we can have this device? It came from our thoughts, and based on our hands, the collaboration with other people, with manufacturers, a lot of the things just kind of moved in line with the person that manifested the thoughts. And with actions, using our hands, that's one way of creating the outcome that you want. Another is just using the thought. Somehow another person got attracted to your energy level, like magnets. It got attracted to you. So anyway, going back to the idea of why are people stuck, it's because they think that we don't have those external power. So then they put on a hat. I'm going to make it more surreal, like, so you can identify there's three main characters, three types that we can associate with. They call it the lower self, which is the ego self. The ego is thinking that I am just me, I'm Gary, and that's all I am. And the ego self tend to be like running in a rat race. The ego self tends to think that it is just first small, just like a rat, a mouse. It's just really small. and doesn't have that much power. And throughout the whole life, you can try hard and work hard and no pain, no gain, and just running busy. I don't have time to connect with myself. I don't have time to look into any of the stuff that you're talking about, Gary, because I'm busy. I'm busy just doing stuff, like making things happen. And you look at the population, for the most part, till they retire or till they grow old, are they that further ahead to where they want to be in life, in their finances, in their relationship, in their health, etc.? So that's the rat. So how do we overcome this? How do we tap into the greater power? The greater power is, you've got the observer self. When I play the guitar, it's almost like saying kumbaya in a campfire. I don't play the ukulele, I don't play guitars. But one of the experiments I'm gonna do one day is just to kind of like the Matrix, just downloading the skills of knowing how to play the ukulele or the guitar or the piano, and I'll show you what the result will be. Can that be done with no training, no lessons? I can just download the ideas. Going back to the track, your observer self is kind of like the peaceful person that's just there to observe. With 3 kids, I'm homeschooling and running multiple businesses, and also doing house chores now. It can get fairly busy. So I don't meditate a lot, maybe like once every 2 weeks. I had a meditation session just on Saturday. And I thought, wow, that was really profound and powerful experience, and just helped me reconnect to who I really am. And so wouldn't it be awesome to start off each Monday, get up a bit earlier so I can just start off the week with a good meditation? And I got up and started meditating. And then like halfway through it, my daughter, she's around like 2.5, she woke up and started calling, "Daddy, Daddy, Daddy." And so, geez, in the middle of meditation, okay, let's try to continue to meditate, see what happens. And I let it go for maybe another half a minute. She come and say, "Daddy, Daddy, Daddy." So, oh my gosh, maybe if I go there and continue playing the guided meditation, I can just be, and she'll let me continue. So I went, sat next to her, and I started meditating again, closing my eyes. And she was quiet, she was nice. But then her 2 brothers also came and slept in the same bed that night. And she started pulling the hair of my older son. And she wanted to get his comforter, his little puppy that his favorite toy is holding on to, hugging. And we've been trying to teach her, don't use force to hurt people. And she just wouldn't let go and started chucking a tantrum. And when her brother wouldn't give her the puppy, so interrupted my flow, and I go, oh, I need to step in. So I put her aside and told her, you can't just hurt people. Now you need to be there to have a bit of a quiet time to reflect until you can regain control of yourself, of your ego self. Your ego self always wanting more. And I started, obviously she's in distress, and she started crying again. And I just closed my eyes and I thought, jeez, when I wanted a peaceful start of the week so I can start off on a good note, and now I've got my older son in pain, my daughter crying distress, and it's not stopping. It just keeps on crying and louder. Oh my God, this is not working. And then my observer self came in. My observer self came in. Wow. Man, when baby are first born, when my daughter Devi, just like any other baby, just first came onto this planet, we associate the first sign of life is when it starts crying. Rah, rah. Imagine if the baby that came out and there's no sound. A lot of us will be freaking out. Is the baby alive? And man, this crying sound is so beautiful. It's almost like it's a symbol of life. And in that moment, I was so grateful that she's crying. It's almost like it's music. It's music to my ears. And she's just going through what she's going through. Just like when we're learning how to walk, when she's learning how to walk, she needs to fall down before she knows how to get back up. And so her crying or she going through that emotion is just part of her learning journey. And just from me being able to observe my thoughts of, oh my God, why is this happening? I wanted to, my ego self have a preference to start off the week in peaceful, in quiet, in having some profound experiences. And from the observer self, I started shifting to the higher self. The higher self is like an antenna. It's just plugged into the infinite wisdom. The whole thought of her associating that moment to a baby being born, it didn't come from me. It didn't come from me. It somehow just got downloaded onto me. And everything else, like I was grateful for my two boys being next to me at the same time as well. Everything was so beautiful and serene. And from that, I didn't feel like I needed to, there was an attachment. I need to be in a meditative state. So I got up or I opened my eyes and I said to my daughter, if you want to get the puppy, what you do, actually, before that, when I had the moment of insight that was downloaded, pretty much within seconds, she stopped crying for some reason. And normally she would go on for at least like 10-15 minutes. And she just stopped. And a lot of the times from my personal experiences, when our internal conflict is resolved, our external stuff is just miraculously resolved by itself. And sometimes you may see like you're doing a multi-million dollars business deals and you're up against the odds and you're back against the wall. You're just thinking that like these situations just wouldn't resolve just like that. Just miracles. Somehow these challenges, it just self-resolve. People say that you can't just, the law of attraction, the secret is not just sitting and do nothing and you have to like put in efforts. Yeah, I'm agreeing with efforts, but it's not a mandate. It's not a mandate. It needs to resolve situation. Resolve the situation you're into getting unstuck. The efforts that you put in fact, it's inspired effort. You do it because you just feel like it's the right thing to do. It's enjoyable. And it's almost it's like it's fun. It's fun to do. So that inspired effort, you don't even consider it work anymore. And so many people have said it in the autobiography. Many successful entrepreneurs, it doesn't even feel like work. What they do is they don't focus on making a profit. They focus on carrying out their life mission. So from the higher self, from the ego self to the observer self, you observe yourself and you transcend to your higher self. And that's when you tap into the power of the superconscious. And in that infinite wisdom, the idea just downloaded, hey, you know what, to release, to unlock the prize of getting the puppy, what if you, instead of trying to pull it and using fear, what if he doesn't give it to me and I'm not going to have it and I'm not going to be enough? What if I just use love? I give him a hug, I give him a kiss, and I don't know what the outcome is. I didn't tell my son to release it, and I was commentating while I was carrying out the act of hugging my older son and kissing him, and lo and behold, the puppy got unlocked, and I put the puppy back to demonstrate it again. And my younger son, he also did the same exercise to try to teach my daughter this lesson, and he did the same, and then the puppy got unlocked as well. And we try to encourage her to do the same, as she was still being dominated by the ego self and learning to observe. You can see she was more calm. She wasn't able to do it at the time, but it comes with the whole thing. Like I'm not. There are days that I have my ego self holding on to certain judgments or meaning that I've given in certain events that I'm stuck for days. But very often now, maybe I get stuck for hours and sometimes just seconds. The more you breathe consciously to bring awareness back to give your brain, your body oxygen, and bring awareness to your observer self, to observe what is your ego self, what is the incessant mind chatter that goes on, that never stops. Hey, you should be doing this now. What about doing that? You also need to do this you have to send this proposal, you need to go to the gym, you need to take the kids here. Oh my God, what if you don't hit target here? Man, what did Joe Smith said to you the other day? It wasn't very nice. Jeez, I'm still not feeling it. All this, the mind chatter, it never stops. The mind chatters lives in a form of duality, right or wrong, yes or no, and it has powerful function. I'm not saying that your ego self or your mind is your enemy. In fact, we get to play this game using our avatar. That's fantastic. But when you play a video game, imagine yourself when you got defeated by the big monster at the end, and you get so frustrated, you are actually upset for the day. That's taking it too far. Get excited, wanting to beat the big monster, but don't get sucked in to think that you are the game. You are the avatar. If you don't win, your life is screwed. So, ego self is there to do a purpose, especially all the stuff that's the logical in creating beautiful cameras, machinery like the computers, fantastic. But all of these ideas, just know that it came from your higher self or someone's higher self for us to access it, and it goes in our subconscious for us to observe it. Wow, these ideas came through, recognize it, download the idea using our conscious self, writing. Our conscious self controls the hands to write it, and then from there, that's when we get into flow. Things just happen. And when you're fighting, you think that I need to control this situation. In the situation of the person I was having a conversation with, how do I learn more? I need to do this, I need to do that. All those are thinking that you are the one that needs to drive the car the whole time, instead of thinking that I'm guided, I'm on a track. And even if I let go, the self-driving mechanism will kick in to direct me on where I need to go. In the path of crossroads, a lot of the times I don't even need to do anything. I'll be automatically directed or be guided to the direction that I need to go. So hopefully that has shed some light into how to get unstuck. And I look forward to sharing more with you in the next video. Peace.